Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Real Debaters. I'm Micheal Petrow, your host, and one of the debaters on the show. This week, the show is supported by Chris Goutzman and Proper Design Works. Proper Design Works is a custom clothing and embroidery manufacturer in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I've known Chris for over 10 years, so I might be biased, but every time I ask this man to make me something, it never fails. I'm always happy. I still have t-shirts he's made me from so many years ago. That never happens. I usually donate them or lose them. So I implore you to go check them out on Instagram. You can find them at properdesignworks.com or Proper Design Works on Instagram. The email is info@properdesignworks.com if you want to place an order or start a conversation about making something that's more custom to you or for a fundraiser, sports team, company logo. If you can take an image and you want it on something cool, they are the people to do it for you. So please support them. They support us. Thank you guys so much. This week in the living room, we've got Chris Stanton, myself, Dan Goldberg making a second appearance in a row. Guys, batting 1,000 so far. And another local Winnipeg comedian, Danielle Kayahara, comes on the show. Super glad to have her and Dan. We love expanding this little family of ours to more and more people who want to come and argue some of the most ridiculous things we can come up with. What did we argue about, you ask? Pretty simple. The scenario was we were all on our way to college, quote unquote, and we had some extra bucks to buy something cool for ourselves for our dorm room. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to argue what would you buy from any future tech novelty gizmo from any movie, right? Like a transporter or a replicator or say a neuralizer. Lots of different cool movie gadgets that are out there that we don't have because they don't exist yet. So if we could, what would we buy and take to college? Why would we take it there? What would we do with it? So on and so forth. As always, lots of fun was had. Lastly, our merch stand. We are on designbyhumans.com. That is the website that you can find all of our merch. T-shirts, hoodies. I think we got some cell phone cases there as well too. So if you want to support the show, you like what we're doing, please head down to designbyhumans.com/shop/the prop shop. Ha ha ha. That's our little pun there, right? You get it. And pick something out there. We would love it. So thank you to anybody who already has. We don't see our orders go through for a couple weeks. So when we do, we'll be sending you a little something. A little thank you from the heart. Besides that, I got nothing else for you. Oh, yeah. Watch our Instagram the next coming weeks. We are planning something super cool with a local movie theater in Winnipeg. The Park Theater to be specific. So we'll be announcing that in the next coming weeks. So if you haven't followed us on Instagram before, we are at Real Debaters, also on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook as well under the Real Debaters Podcast. A little bit more of a professional title. Anyways, without further ado, I will cue the reel, and you enjoy the show, man. That's perfect. If you talk that close, we're good. All right, cool. So, yes, I wanted to extend a welcome back to you, Dan. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Welcome back. I didn't bring my echo this time.
And Danielle, I'm gonna just horribly say your last name. So can you say it for everybody so that they know that it's not mispronounced?
Kayahara.
Kayahara. Danielle Kayahara. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I was when we were expanding this list, I told this to Dan before. I said when we first started doing the show, and Martin Navarro was saying, you got to go after this guy, go after that guy. Steve and Jimmy were like, get Danielle on the show. She's going to make us look like fools.
Chris?
So,
did you mean Chris?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Steve?
My good friend Steve.
Yes. Who is Steve?
So thank you for coming on the show. Hello to you, Chris.
Hello.
So let's just dig right into this so that we can make it nice and simple and easy this week. I wanted to start off talking to everybody about movie betrayal, I guess is how I'm kind of putting a topic on it, where You see a movie that's a classic. It's been around for 20, 30 years. And then all of a sudden Hollywood gets really greedy and they know that there's a lot of potential to maybe make a reboot or a remake of it. And this week, Tom Holland tweeted that there have been talks about a Back to the Future remake. Yet the entire family behind Back to the Future has said I'm sure there is an amount of money out there that they'll say yes to, but they're going to make it an astronomical amount because they've said, no, we are not going to do this because it is a beautiful masterpiece in and of itself. Second to that, you've got Henry Cavill. I don't know. We don't have Alexa anymore for this, but you've got Henry Cavill possibly being tapped for Wolverine. Yet you've got an actor, Hugh Jackman, who played 1, 2, 3. Is it 6 or is it 7, Chris? I think it's 6. It's 6 for sure.
Appearances as Wolverine?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know now.
It's over 5.
7
yeah.
or 8.
We can fact check later, which we never do. But so now you've got Henry Cavill possibly taking up the reins as Wolverine in either a reboot to the reboot or possibly carrying on. But either way, these are performances by actors that, I mean, well, maybe Hugh Jackman, not so much. But my question to everybody is that how does this make you feel when you see Hollywood just grabbing low-hanging fruit and making it easy? We'll start with you, Dan. Like, are you happy with remakes of classic movies, or do you want to see something, something original?
Oh, I really don't care when they do that.
Sure.
At all. Yeah. The thing is, I think people, you see a movie, and this may be the wrong thing to say on a movie podcast, but I believe it's up to the people that make the movies to make whatever movies they want.
Okay.
And the people, like, they're good at Hollywood's good at making money, so I'm not going to tell them like what movies to make money, and they know what to do. If they know people are going to buy crap, they're going to make it. So I think it's the fans' fault for watching it, but I don't blame them for remaking movies. They're never going to do it well enough for the hardcore fans. So that seems like a yeah. I just
You're not
don't
bothered
see
by it.
No.
Okay. And which is fine.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there is definitely a place for all this stuff, but I guess like I'm a purist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get my back gets up against the wall when I see, there's no reason to. Like, we closed Back to the Future with Doc settling into the Old West, finally finding some love.
Oh, I agree. It's not great art, but I don't blame him for doing it because, like, I know the movie industry's about money.
Yeah, really. At the end of the day,
that's what
it's a giant
I know.
Ponzi
That's
scheme
what they're
for
trying to do. Yeah.
So I would chip in there. Sorry, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
You've been pumped before about another Top Gun movie and Ghostbusters and stuff. Top Gun's a bit different because Tom Cruise is back,
and it's the sequel.
It's more of a sequel. Yeah. Ghostbusters is its weird own. Let's carry on the
lineage,
name, but we're gonna have new characters. I don't really know what the Back to the Future with Tom Holland would be, if that's just carrying on more stories with Doc and Marty, or if they're just going to reboot the original movie. But I think this all stemmed from the deepfake that came out with Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland. Have you guys seen it?
No.
It's do you know what a deepfake is?
Yeah.
Someone took Robert Downey and Tom Holland and put them into the original Back to the Future, and it's pretty well done. It's like the scene at the school, I think, or
done
whatever.
by a studio, maybe.
Almost like a test thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, this kind of worked really well. And that's what I think this is stemmed from, is that the internet was like, this is so good. And then someone said to Tom. And then I think this is just getting Tom attached, but I don't think we're ever going to see a Back to the Future anytime soon.
I hope and very strongly agree with you, Danielle. What are your thoughts on taking masterpieces? You like I said, you can take a lot. Like, there are some movies that were done horribly.
Are we calling Wolverine Origins a masterpiece?
Yeah.
Hey, it is to me. No, yeah, we're not. I guess what we're talking about is a lengthy time as the character, and then all of a sudden being like, well, we need to put new blood into this, so we're going to pick somebody else instead of making a better story to invigorate new said blood.
I think it depends. I'm all for, in the scheme of things, carrying characters forward.
Okay.
Like, if you're giving me a different story, of a Wolverine who is Henry Cavill's age and not Hugh Jackman's age,
Okay.
I can get behind that.
Nice.
If you're giving me Wolverine Origins starring Henry Cavill, I'm not interested.
You don't want to see him slashing up a sink in some old farmer's house.
No. But if it is, like Chris said, a continuation of Marty and Doc going forward, or doing something
Or
else
backwards.
fun, or backwards, or we
It's about
find
their
out
kids.
that time travel is alternate dimensions, and so there's just alternate Doc and Marty.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, there's a
All
lot
right.
of different ways you can kind of do it without just restarting Peter getting bitten by the spider.
But yeah,
Because Tom Holland is in a reboot. He is in a remake of an existing character that was played and loved by many.
Totally.
From Tobey Maguire, and
And
that is all we'll say about Spider-Man.
but yeah, they forget that there's a reason why they did that with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Pull that microphone in just a little bit. No, pull it in, not your face. There you go.
They forgot there was a reason why they did that with Spider-Man, because of the Sony, Marvel thing. They had to put out as many Spider-Man movies as they didn't have to.
They
but
still have to.
They felt like they
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah.
But like they don't. I don't think they have that with Wolverine. The same deal with Wolverine. They just want to make more different.
Because
Wolverines.
now Wolverine is owned by Disney,
Yeah.
and Hugh Jackman is
with the big
saying he's
purchase.
done. I guess, with the whole transaction with Fox. So I knew it was going to be a matter of time till they would recast the character, because it's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just like they made. It's not like Hugh Jackman was some other mutant that wasn't that popular and made him popular or whatever.
Totally.
Wolverine was always one of the top 3 X-Men or Marvel characters kind of deal, right?
Yep.
So it was going to happen. I don't know if I'd wanted even to be Henry Cavill. He's been Superman and The Witcher. I don't know if I want. I don't know. He's already doing other big sort of franchise things. So I don't know. He's also really tall, like Jackman is. And Wolverine's not tall.
No,
Yeah,
He's like
stout.
5'2" or 5'3".
he's a stocky little Wolverine. He's not a long Wolverine.
Like, I can't imagine Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, like doing the cannonball throw or whatever it was that they would do, or the curveball throw, whatever it was called, where he just curls up Wolverine and just throws him. That'd look weird if it's Henry Cavill.
But speaking of Mark Ruffalo, he's not the original Hulk.
Yeah, no. And not even in that universe, too, because
So-
Edward Norton had dropped out. So
And
it happens. Don Cheadle also.
not
War
the
Machine.
original War Machine. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
And it happens for all the reasons that you said, right? Like recasting, salary, Hugh Jackman just wanting to do something more creative than being angry and
also
broody
getting
and-
older.
Yeah,
and-
your body
Wolverine shouldn't age as quickly
As
Hugh
he
Jackman
is.
aging.
Yeah.
And so then the alternative is what? The de-aging? Because that's not going to make a better movie.
We've seen The Irishman. We know de-aging does not apply well.
Oh, you mean all 20-year-old men don't move like that?
It's the one thing they couldn't get rid of. Have you seen The Irishman, Danielle?
I will admit
Did you
to
start
not
The
having the
Irishman?
patience.
It was what
Yeah.
Chris said. Yeah. So but the best part is, yes, they, as Dan says, they get younger, but they still move like 70-year-old men. I'm like, how did you not figure out maybe just speed up the camera times one?
Like
They-
they're muscly, but like in the wrong places.
they did the same technology with Samuel L. Jackson in Captain Marvel as well, I think, because he's
Yes, yeah, they
70
did de-age him
now,
a
and
little bit.
he's supposed to, like, his character's supposed to be like mid-40s, 50s-ish. And I remember there was one scene where they're chasing after bad guys or running, and it was obvious that it was not someone who was 40 to 50 running. It's like, come on, this is like a Disney movie. You cannot have gotten one stunt actor. Like,
No kidding.
I don't know.
Just from
the thing,
behind.
like, of all the Marvel characters, I think they could get away with recasting Nick Fury without a lot of uproar.
Yeah, they could. If you're going back
Yeah.
into the 80s, that would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I just like I said, the purist in me is like you all make the same points that I actually agree with. I just get really uptight about seeing, like, just I know the studio is after the money, and these remakes have started to really sell because there's new generations, right, who haven't seen the original story. So, like, it's a great, like anything, if you repackage information properly, it sells. So, yeah, that's interesting to find out. Second to that, we just watched a video before we started recording, and it has to do with movie and television production. as much as holograms have kind of eaten shit, right? Like James Dean, they're making a James Dean movie with him as a hologram, and I don't know how well that's going to
Is that
play
actually happening though?
Yeah,
thought that
it's in production. I think it's still in production. I
Okay.
haven't really followed too much up on it, but they will be placing him in a period war movie. But with the way that they filmed The Mandalorian, these new hologram techniques that came from it, we all saw it. Like, it's probably one of the coolest things since whatever James Cameron did for Avatar to kind of come out. Danielle, you made a really good point about how it's going to change set painting. Chris, you said, like, man, these post-production guys are going to be out of a job. But, I mean, like...
Well, or they'll just be shifted.
Yeah. It'll be like, you're now in charge instead of making it happen after. We'll be putting this video up online for you guys to take a look at so you know what the hell we're talking about. But thoughts on it? Like, I think it's really going to make watching movies a whole lot better because you can see a green screen now, right? Like, it's when green screens were first invented, you couldn't really tell. And then all of a sudden they came into the market and everybody really knew about them. And there are some really shoddy green, like I don't know when do any of you guys know when they were kind of brought into the industry? I don't know.
I don't say like Lucas brought
Yeah,
it in.
I think
yeah,
is
I
it
was thinking
Lucas?
it was
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Okay,
yeah.
it was Star
the
Wars.
old like blue kind of screen.
The blue
that you
screen
would
is
have.
before the green screen, and the green
Yeah.
screen is now.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
think
it
it
was
was in
him.
television before movies, though. It was
Okay.
like how that's how they did like the weather, right? So I'm
Yes,
pretty sure
yeah,
it started
okay.
with television.
All right.
And then someone was
Yeah.
like, "Let's put this in a movie."
Yeah, why can't we do
Yeah.
this in a movie?
Yeah.
But what, like, I was watching Die Hard 2 last night, and it was the ejection scene out of the plane. And it's like, you can clearly tell that, like, one image has just been posted and then manipulated with a camera. That's the shitty green screen.
Or any scene where someone's like falling and it's like the point of view of you watching them fall away, and it's like, oh, that's obviously not the ground below them, and they're just like, oh.
They're just scaling them smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just moving the camera back a little bit or whatever.
Yeah, just put the camera on a rocket.
But I've Chris, have you seen The Mandalorian?
I haven't finished it, but yeah.
but you've seen it. Okay. Did you watch it, Danielle?
I did not.
Okay. Did you?
I did.
You did? Okay. So did I. But after seeing that, Danielle, like, now that you know, when you go to watch it, if you ever do go to watch it, you would have never guessed that was how it was done with that giant hologram.
Well, watching it, you just assume it's a green screen,
yeah.
right? And so it makes it easier for them, and I guess and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like I won't notice. I'm not going to sit there like, I bet you it's a hologram.
I assumed it was like practical sets, like because they like all practical sets because they already had a lot of them for the other Star Wars.
Exactly. So
movies,
they
right?
just
yeah.
moved them from storage to make this work.
And if anyone had the money to do that, it would be
Yeah.
Disney.
King Disney.
I know
sure.
it's not film related, but it reminds me. I can't remember what the name of her song is, but Bjork has a music video where it's all one shot. Well, it all happens in one take, but it's from like 100 different angles of cameras that they have, and she's like on a train. It goes throughout. So you watch, you're like, oh, okay, you just did that once. That's great. But if you didn't know the backstory, you'd be like, oh, they just
right.
shot it in
Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
takes. I have no idea what they did without researching it.
This
so
is cool.
It's
but
not
yeah.
impressive until you know it's impressive. You're like, oh, okay. And it's kind of the same with that. I just thought, oh, it was like, yeah, some part practical effects, and then everything else just filled in with computers later on.
If it can make lower budget movies more convincing, I think that's where it's going to make the big switch. Because watching a Disney thing, you expect it to be fantastic.
Yeah.
If I can watch a lower budget thing and just not feel like I'm watching two people in a car in front of a green screen, that would be great.
Why didn't they do that with The Lion King? Just have the real animals in front of like real looking hologram sets, and they're like, oh, see, now they actually got them to run around.
Because they would eat each other?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess.
there might be a PETA thing in a animal wrangler
PETA?
issue.
Is it actually PETA? I thought it was PETA.
Is it? Well, when I say PETA, I think of lunch. I don't. I
And
think
that's what they don't want you to think.
Nope, PETAs are relatively safe. They're relatively harmless
they're
to the
not
animal
going
kingdom.
extinct. Yeah, no, that's a really great point, Danielle. Because like, you instantly go into that pick apart mode, right? In a lower budget movie that can't afford it. So if and it's a video game company getting involved with a movie studio, so like, that's a pairing that usually only happens after the movie's been made. They make a video game on the movie, so it's it's a great idea. But to your point, Chris, where like I bet you Favreau's kind of like, man, can we remake the Lion King now that I've figured out how to do this technology? Because it's a game changer. I've never acted. I don't know what it's like to stand in front of a green screen, but I can imagine being like, can you imagine the Avengers cast having this technology when they made Endgame instead of like a gravel?
Well, for all we know, they did have it.
Yeah,
and they
you're
just
right.
haven't
Yeah,
shown us that stuff.
that's
right?
true. Yeah,
Because of Avengers, they got this technology going, right?
no kidding.
And Star Wars money.
They're gonna credit Mandalorian, but really it was like Infinity
Yeah.
Game had already figured it out. Cool. All right. Well, Chris, if you can do what you always do, we're gonna do the trailer of the week.
Trailer of the week.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow. We don't have a sound effects machine for this yet, so Chris is great for throwing in some beatboxing. He didn't do it as well.
You also have to tell everybody that every time someone new's on the show.
I do,
I'm sure listeners are like, yeah, we know.
I know Chris
only
is
for
good at
them.
beatboxing.
I'm familiar with Steve here, and I know that he is great at beatboxing.
Anytime I walk by Chris when he's at the club, he's always like just clicking it, clicking and popping.
Like, what's he going to do? We don't know.
All right, so let me
I
bring
think
this
he's
up.
part machinery.
Is that a T1000 or is that a comedian in the corner? So this week's trailer of the week is Bloodshot, coming out I think it's later in March. It didn't really have a date when I was online. Directed
Soon, I take it?
Yeah, soon. Yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely 2020. David S. F. Wilson is the director. Written by Jeff Wardlow, Eric Haser, and Bob Layton. Starring Vin Diesel, Eric Gonzalez, Sam Hogan, Toby Kebbell, Guy Pearce, and Tallulah Riley. Which is that Demi Moore's daughter? I know one of them's name is Tallulah, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
No, okay,
What?
no, nobody's really following. No,
You look at me yeah.
I went right to you on that one.
Demi Moore and Bruce Willis. Is that who you're hoping for? Bruce Willis's kid?
So
Why wouldn't she be in Bruce Willis's movies?
Yeah.
Not Vin Diesel's.
somebody with a bald head? Either way.
Yeah. She got confused.
She wrong set that day. So the story is based on the best-selling comic book. Vin Diesel stars as Ray Garrison, a soldier recently killed in action and brought back to life as a superhero named Bloodshot by an RST corporation.
Oh, that's just not the name of the movie. They call him that?
His actual code name is Bloodshot. With an army of nanotechnology in his veins, he's an unstoppable force, stronger than ever and able to heal instantly. But in controlling his body, the company has sway over his mind and memories too. Now Ray doesn't know what's real and what's not, but what his mission is to find out.
At RST, we'd rebuild the most important assets in the U.S. military. Soldiers like yourself. You're the first who we've successfully managed to bring back. But improved, enhanced. With the technology in your veins, you have an army inside you that will not only make you stronger, it will heal you instantly. Now tell me, do you remember anything?
Where are you going?
I've got unfinished business. I'm gonna find the man who murdered my wife and kill him.
Oh, that's not good. All right, shut him down. And initiate sequence. Okay, who is the next target for elimination? Tell me, do you remember anything?
What do we think? Dan, we'll start with you.
I like when Vin Diesel stays in his lane.
Literally?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wasn't even going for that one, but thanks for pointing it out. Yeah, I'll take it.
Stay in the car, buddy.
Yeah. No, I think this is a good Vin Diesel movie. I like all the different elements that are coming. Yeah. I think it's interesting that Vin Diesel's playing somebody unaware of the world around them. I think he'd be good at that.
Well said. Well said.
But pardon me. I like all the elements in it, like the time loops that are going on. It's got some Black Mirror themes.
Definitely.
Ahead of the self-healing superhero thing, which is always cool. But we've seen,
G.I. Joe specifically had nanotechnology in it. and
It's always nanotech.
Yeah.
Like, they can never come up with their own new name. It's just
Yeah.
nanotech.
Tiny robots.
Yeah, and then
What
they,
do the robots
then they
do?
show
They're
us
tiny.
too.
Yeah.
Look, they're in the skin.
Yeah.
just so you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but it mixes several sci-fi subgenres. That was a tough one.
This is a
Sci-fi
mouthful.
subgenres,
Subgenres. Yeah.
and it looks like it'd be a cool story. Yeah.
Yeah, Danielle, what do you view from said trailer?
I mean, it's your standard Vin Diesel action fare.
Mm-hmm.
There's a joke kind of running through that, is he remembering things from a previous, movie? Because this feels like Chronicles of Riddick again. Is this familiar?
Why do I feel like I'm on the Triple X set?
Yeah.
That'd be great if like an alternate timeline in a movie just brought them into another movie. I'd love to see
I
that.
think if any actor was going to do that, I'd watch Vin Diesel do that, right? Triple X,
Yeah.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Just keeps falling
Fast
through
and
and
Furious.
Just his last movie brings every other movie he's done all together.
What was the action movie he was in? There's snow. There's lots of snow. There's snowmobiles.
Fast and the Furious took place
No, it wasn't
in
a
the
Fast
Arctic
and-
in
it
one of
wasn't
the
a
movies.
Fast
There was a
one.
Triple X sequel.
Yeah.
which had Ice Cube, I think, right?
Well, no, there was
Didn't he-
that one, and then they also rebooted it. You know what?
I'm going right to
do
it.
it.
Don't worry
I was
about
kind of. I'm also sharing sort of similar thoughts with everyone else.
There was a Fast and Furious on ice for a little while.
Are you
Like, was it
for
a
real?
touring show in the arena? Like,
No,
did
I
people
just
get on
mean one of
skates?
the movies ended up in
Oh.
snow.
I was driving in Winnipeg.
Also, fun fact: Vin Diesel's real name is Mark Sinclair, so I don't know if that would have
Oh.
as much punch.
Nobody named their child Vincent Diesel.
They did in Transcona, probably,
Yeah.
but not on.
Well, now they do.
I would have always assumed it was Vincenzo.
Vincenzo.
Vincenzo DSLO.
Billy Lynn's Long Walk was. Oh, I think you're thinking of The Last Witch Hunter.
No,
No.
but I know.
No, that was an urban fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this wasn't an action. Or maybe I was thinking with The Last Witch Hunter. It could be. There's no snowmobiles in that, and a movie called The Last Witch Hunter.
Yeah. No, doesn't look like it.
Is he just
Well,
going
what
after
do you-
Henry Cavill?
What are you thinking of the movie?
I'm interested in it because I like another comic book movie that isn't Avengers, that isn't Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Dan mentioned the trading card. You said you thought you had a Marvel trading card with Bloodshot on it, and I know I vividly remember those trading cards, and so I like the fact that they're kind of branching out into some different ideas, like the Morbius trailer, this trailer, right? Like they may not be great movies, but it's still great to see something from your childhood put on the screen that you may have read in a comic book a dozen times on the shitter, right? Like there's a lot to that. As for the movie quality, it looks like shit to me.
Yeah.
Like it
It looks like any Vin Diesel movie between
Yeah.
2002 to 2008.
That trailer makes me want to read the comic book.
yes.
which is exactly probably what they're hoping. I bet
Yeah.
you there'll be like a reissue or something around that time.
Totally.
Or they'll reboot it. The movie I was thinking of was from 2008, Babylon AD.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Were they like really super high tech snowmobiles?
Yeah, and he has
That's
to
like an
escort
alien.
someone from Russia to America, so the winter stuff was probably in Russia that I was thinking
Okay.
of.
All right.
Michelle Yao was in it. Mark Strong. You know, it didn't do well.
Yeah. No.
But that's what I'm imagining. This, you say this comes out in March. This will probably just fly under the way. Like, we got Wonder Woman coming out soon, Black Widow.
Yeah. Mulan
Like,
is later in the. There's a lot.
Plus another Fast and Furious movie,
Yeah, but
right?
all the angry dudes were like, I don't want to
Yeah.
see Black Widow or
Yeah.
Yeah,
give me my action man.
There are
Yeah.
Vin Diesel fans that will see it because it's Vin Diesel.
Can-
Like,
Exactly.
there are a lot of Vin Diesel fans.
Can Vin Diesel star in a movie called Action Man? I'd watch. That'd be like his
Yeah.
last action hero movie. Let's just get him doing that.
Or just do a last.
Where it's
Action
like a
Hero
very
2.
meta, tongue-in-cheek. He's making fun of himself. That'd be great.
Would it be a reboot or a remake?
I don't know anymore. I don't. There's too many. Like subgenres are hard enough to keep up. When you start renaming how a movie's made, you're getting into some shit. But
A Redux.
a
Reimagining.
Yeah.
a rescaling, if you will.
Yes.
I would probably watch this movie on the toilet over multiple poops. Like I would log into Netflix if I had to take a really bad shit and like watch Bloodshot until I had to leave the bathroom, and then go back to the bathroom the next day and continue watching.
I would
That's-
save it
that's-
for coronavirus.
I would feel like you'd stop like looking forward to your poops though. You'd be like, I don't want to go to the bathroom because I have to watch
that might stop me from pooping. and I
Yeah,
gotta
I
go back
Very
to-
efficient poops.
yeah.
30-second poops. That's
Like you
that's
can
it,
only
uh,
go to the bathroom with associating Bloodshot.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of thought you want to have
No.
while you're pooping. It's a Bloodshot.
I'm sure it'll be a fine sort of action romp,
Yeah.
but probably kind of forgettable.
It's a popcorn movie.
It's
Yeah.
100% a popcorn movie.
It's a Tuesday night.
yes,
$5 in the movies.
I agree. All right,
And
let's
that's all I'll probably ever say about Bloodshot now. In
move on.
10 years, I'll be like, what was that movie? There was snowmobiles, I think Bloodshot.
I think I saw it on a Tuesday.
yeah.
I know I didn't pay full price for it. That's for sure. So let me bring this up here. This week on the debate. Okay.
What did this debate inspire and who came up with it?
I just was sitting down in front of the computer and I don't know what I think I was just looking at how much I still love my MacBook and like how like there's like all the oh man. Just like the touch bar on the MacBook, I was like, this is kind of cool to blend your iPhone technology with your MacBook. And then I was kind of trying to think of a new debate, and then next thing you know, the wheels were moving. And I was like, okay, there's like movies are the launch pad for like where some of our current day technology, like the communicator from Star Trek, right? For example, I mean, our cell phones are getting cooler and cooler and cooler as we go.
They would use like touchpad screens that
Exactly.
mimic an iPad now.
Yeah, totally. So I was like, well, if we have to wait another 20 to 50 years to see like the newest thing right now is the flip smartphone, right? Like to be able to flip a phone together and not break this digital LED screen. So I was like, all right, let's go even further. Let's look into movies and figure out if we could pull like some of our favorite toys that we've seen in movie and have them today, right? Instead of waiting the 100 years, or our grandkids are going to probably just start to see them come to production. Let's talk about it today. So that's the whole premise of today's debate, is taking future tech and applying it to today's usage. This is inspired by movies such as Bloodshot, because the nanotechnology kind of plays, right?
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
There's that. And then there's like every sci-fi movie always has that one device that you need, right? Or that one thing has to happen on the ship or in the plot that, you know, has some sort of great weird technology behind it. So let's bring it to today's setting, right? And I picked the scenario. I don't know why I picked this one, but you're on your way to college. You've packed up. You've got everything you need, but you find out you got a couple extra grand kicking around and you've got nothing to do with it. So if you could buy your favorite piece of future tech and take it to college with you, what would it be? What are you willing to pay for it, right? What would you do with it, right? Like what kind of things would you start fucking with people or not? And the only rule was it had to fit in your dorm room. That was it, right?
Yeah.
So
the DeLorean would have been pretty tough.
the DeLorean would have been definitely. If you had the flux capacitor and you could kind of mimic like a portal, I guess that would be okay. But the car, you know, I'm just thinking your roommate might not be too cool with, you know, plutonium being used.
Do we have a roommate? Was that a rule? I didn't miss that.
Well,
I'll get to mine.
yeah.
I just flubbed through mine anyways. So
this is
I don't
perfect
care about your
flubbication.
rules.
So, Dan, let's start with you, buddy. What are you bringing to the party?
It's got to be the hot tub time machine
Nice.
from the movie.
Hot tub time machine.
Hot tub time machine.
It's the fucking 80s, guys! Let's do what we want to do! Free love!
It's the 60s, dipshit.
No, we had like Reagan and AIDS. Just get the fuck out of here, okay? Do the right thing, violator.
Okay, various reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a kick-ass hot tub. Like, it starts off... Well, first of all, it starts off with a dead animal in it, but they come and fix it up. Now, you have to deal with
Who
Chevy
fixes
Chase.
it up? Okay, there we go.
Okay, you have to deal with Chevy Chase. Now, that is... I'll start out with that is the major detriment. That's the major con. But other than Chevy Chase, okay, first of all, it's a winterized hot tub, right? So
Perfect for ski resorts.
Yeah.
So you got a hot tub. You're in a dorm room. You got the parties right there. That's already happening, right?
Easy.
Just on the hot tub part. So you got that going. Now, Okay, so now there's like the time circuits in it. I don't know what they called it. What do they call it?
The time circuits, for lack of a better word.
The time circuits. This version of the flux capacitor.
There you go.
The Craig Robinson flux capacitor, and the Chernobyl, the Russian energy drink with extra stuff in it. Oh, there's a cat in the mix.
Yeah, cat came in the room. Everybody say hello to Burger.
Hi, Burger.
Yeah.
He's very
That is
big.
a cute cat. What was it? Okay, I was talking about the hot tub time machine. So yeah, and then obviously, so you got the time machine, and I could just go back in time. And the thing is, there's a lot of things you could do with a time machine, and but in the world of hot tub time machine, it's specific because you go back into your own body if you were already alive
During that time.
Totally. If not, you just go back and do whatever you want, like the kid in the movie. But
yeah, which is great for him because it's his playground.
But he's like blinking out of existence. They took that a little bit from Back to the Future, but that's cool. But it is kind of cool how they did it. Kind of looked like he was blinking out like a TV. I like that.
So if you're not born yet, you're just yourself. Was that how it went?
Unless something changes where you wouldn't have been born.
So if you were like a child, then you were back in your child's body.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, but with your adult's brain.
Great.
But like that leads to the scene where like Craig Robinson like calls his 9-year-old wife.
Yes. What are you doing calling this house, boy? Don't do it. Don't cheat on me, baby.
Put it down. Put the phone down.
All right, so you've got this time machine. It's in your dorm.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you doing with it?
Okay, so with the time machine, so I'm going back to the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So that was when I was in high school, and I'm getting Orbit's drink, Crystal Pepsi, and I'm stocking up, and I'm selling it. And selling vintage beverages on eBay back in 2020 with the only one with the Stay Fresh guarantee, right? Other people selling Crystal Pepsi $400 a bottle. I sell it $200 a bottle. Tastes like it was bottled yesterday.
No kidding.
So do people know you've done this, or you're just like this is the legit stuff? Don't ask me how I got it.
I figure the word's gonna get out because I am gonna have a lot of parties, and then the time machine, like the hot tub aspect of it. And the time machine aspect of it, of course, with all the drinking, are going to get mixed up. I'm going to drink some of that Chernobyl too. I don't know what
you're going to lose a couple of people in time.
Yeah. So things are going to get mixed up. Word's going to get out. But like the first thing I will have done is, of course, like all the investment stuff you do with the time machine, and I'll have a few interests in there, like with the vintage beverages. But yeah,
you got me interested. I want some Orbits and chew on my drink.
Instead of Google, I'll have the Dan Goldberg Google, the Goog.
The Goog.
The
Goldberg
Google.
The Dougal.
Dougal. There you go.
Danoogle.
Yeah.
I'm going to denoogle that. That doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No.
So there's no temptation of trying to change history then, really?
The thing is that just gets messy. I'll keep it close just for my own benefit, and then but I'll do the thing like I like at the end where he sets up his friends like in like cushier lives, but like it was kind of shitty because they don't remember the last 25 years and how they got there. They're just like all of a sudden in these cush lives. So I think I'd do that to like my enemies. Like I'd like invite them over to my hot tub party and then like set them up in like really shitty lives like 25 years later.
I'm never getting in your hot tub. Like I'm just imagining being like in college with you and it's like, come on over, and like I've already pissed you off. Like you're fucking with everybody.
But no, yeah, it'd be under the guise of like okay, you know what, let's smooth things over. Like I broke into this college dorm at the age of 38. Like let's have a fun college tour party. Because I guess I this just occurred to me. I would have to go back to college at the age of 38.
Are we supposed to be in our current age in this scenario?
Well, that's what
I guess sure.
I'm sticking to hot tub time machine rules, so yeah, I'd have to start out in the yeah.
I never thought about the time, like because in every other time machine movie, when you're going back, you always are going back to your younger self. So,
but time machine paradox rules, you know, I've as soon as I make the decision to do this, then I'm already set up to do it right.
Yeah,
as long as the time machine exists.
How much did this cost you? How much did you spend?
yeah,
I know
I
I didn't allow a budget, but like, what do you think you'd be willing to pay for this?
I did a little research. I think that's a Nordic style spa. So a typical Nordic style spa, winterized, goes for about $6,000 low end. Installation is another $2,000 or $3,000. Now the time travel circuits, I think those will cost about, about like $400, $500. But it's a time machine. You go back 2 weeks, keep your receipt, get a price adjustment when it's on sale, so you can save a little bit there.
He's thought this out.
Yeah,
no kidding.
And then Chernobyl, it's like an energy drink, like Red Bull. It is illegal in the U.S., but I think it might be like the Cuban cigar thing. Like we can get them in Canada as long as they don't go through U.S. borders. But they are illegal, and it's got like time travel crystals in it. So maybe like $5 a can instead of $4. So I get a few of those.
How much room does this take up in your do you have a bed still?
You don't have a roommate.
You don't have a roommate. Like have you gone back in time to secure the fact that you have some sort of weird disease and no roommate could ever survive living with you?
Yeah.
Because I'm just wondering the specs of the.
Yeah. How would I justify the hot tub in a?
Well, I mean, you could empty it and sleep in it, I guess.
I'd be like the skin disease, like the guy from the painting always had to be in a tub, right? I'll just say I had that, but yeah, and then I open up the can of Chernobyl and like smell it. It's got to be skin medicine. So yeah,
okay.
That's how I justify it to the RAs.
Okay. And RAs are the people that are in charge of everybody on their
The resident advisors.
resident advisor. Okay, all right. I did not go to post secondary, so this is kind of like my little fantasy all in one, like the cool technology.
This
and
is why we're doing this. Okay.
You haven't watched all of the frat movies, though? That's where these come from.
Varsity Blues is kind of where I end with anything frat related, but actually no road trip. Road trip. I know we talked about this before. Me and Dan on last week's episode. Okay, all right. This is the Danielle and to Dan as well. This is the time where we get to chew Dan apart for his argument.
Come at me.
I only have one question. Hygiene.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I semi-daily. For me. Oh no, okay. For the time machine. Okay.
No, for okay. So you're in college dorm. Everybody, like I remember when I was 18, I would still consider showering with a can of Axe instead of actual water was called hygiene. So I'm just wondering, you get a bunch of 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old people who are constantly coming in and out of your hot tub. Does that affect anything? Like, are you going to be the reason
18,
why
20-year-olds still use Axe? Or are you just showing your age?
I'm just showing I'm showing my age, number one. I don't know what 18, 20-year-olds do to this day.
Well, please comment in the comments.
The thing is, there's a magical thing about hot tubs where they don't magically get rid of germs, but they magically make people not care about the germs. Because it's just like hot tub rules. It's like what you're getting into when you go into a hot tub.
That is kind of true.
Yeah.
You're already sort of in there, like, well, whatever.
Yeah, it's like everyone knows the situation with hot tubs, choose to or not, but they'll know it's a time machine, so that like kind of helps it. But like just hot tubbing alone is enough to get around the germs of going in a hot tub.
I kind of agree with you because I remember going to like Fun Mountain or
choose your battles. So that was
That's not the standard of water quality.
Well, no, but I just remember like knowing that like everybody like it was a bunch of kids all peeing in this hot tub.
And we can mention Skinner's because Jimmy's not here this week.
And they're closing.
Yeah. But like I am imagining young people, college, beer, food. Guys who think that that's how they're going to shower for the week.
There's no less trustworthy group of people who should have access to a hot tub than people in a college dorm.
Yes. Okay. And especially since there's a time vortex in it, there's like extra risk of drowning. I'll give you that.
Like some guy is definitely going to go back and kill your parents so that he can claim your time machine.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Like you gotta have a lock on this.
Wasn't that the sequel?
Oh,
I don't know. I never saw the sequel.
I didn't even delve into the sequel
the evilness.
Evil hot tub time machine.
But yeah, there is always that risk with it. But the first trip I got a I gotta make quiet. I gotta set myself up, make a time travel safe bunker with all the stuff set up for myself back in the 80s.
So if you get stuck there, you're
just make a little hatch in Assiniboine Park that I could go back to if I need to. Just get set up in a new life. Yeah.
Living out your days in Assiniboine Park, drinking Orbits.
Yeah,
that's a dream.
I like to imagine you somehow buy so much Orbits that it never really takes off. So when you get back here, no one knows what it is or wants to buy it.
I was
You've
the
hurt
one,
the market yourself.
Yeah, I was the one responsible for it failing because it wasn't available.
Yeah, there's no nostalgia to go off of. What is this? Don't you guys remember Pogs?
I got all the hologram Charmander cards.
Yeah. Your Tamagotchis are still alive.
Oh, Jesus, the nostalgia. All right, okay. Anybody else? Are we done sacrificing?
No, I think that was a pretty good debate. You had lots of points.
I like a hot tub. I've realized my parents moved and they got rid of theirs, and now I'm like, how did I never take advantage of this thing that I had for 12 years every time I went over for dinner?
Well, I guess the one thing would be, are you promoting this to people to come back in time to your your dorm to the parties?
Or is it like, surprise, look what I have?
Or you just have it, and then if anyone finds it, you're like, oh, this is what we can do.
Well, it's mostly a hot tub. Just mostly a hot tub in the dorm room.
Okay, all right.
Okay, but then like I said,
look what I can do.
Yeah, like good close friends who can keep a secret. They'll come back in time with me, and then enemies, get them over in the hot tub for hot tubbing. Get them really drunk so they fall asleep in the hot tub. So they travel back with me in time. I set them up as like a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay like 20 years ago.
Oh.
And then
they come back and they're in jail.
Yeah.
So maybe you do this to like deans or professors as well. rival football teams.
Or just like transit operators that don't say anything when I say thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
those are who we need to take down.
Yeah, just like enemies. You know?
Top of your list. Disgruntled civil employees.
Invite them over to your hot tub as you would do as you're getting off the bus.
And they would agree to do that because that's a normal thing to be asked.
It's the transaction. Thanks for the ride. Want to come in my hot tub?
Well, the next day on the bus, I become friends with them.
Okay.
5 years later, I invite them over to the hot tub.
You're still in college?
I'm devious.
Yeah. This is a long con.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth it.
That's why I need
for
time
orbits.
Well, no, that's what the whole time machine is for, so I could jump back and forward in my cons. You know, I'd be traveling back and forward all sorts of times. I need an even bigger moleskin just to keep track of all my timelines.
Was there any negative effects to doing that, jumping back and forth too much? Like, oh, you're disappearing yourself, or your brain can't handle it, or they didn't even cross that?
I think all the drinking and drug use would have harmed them more than
probably.
Yeah.
And considering all the drinking and drug use that goes on in college, whatever you're worried about happening, I think is probably already done to these kids before they start traveling back in time.
That's true. It gets iffy because I'll be going back 20 years, like enticing college kids with my fully adult mind, but to get into hot tubs and then like, okay, now I'm going back 20 years. I would lose track of which timeline I was on, definitely. But I figure if I just get into a nice groove, like that'd just be my life, just a hot tubbing time marauder. Yeah,
it's gonna screw up all the timelines.
Yeah.
You can't trust a college kid with timelines.
For you guys, but I'll just be
doing your own thing.
I'll be cool. Yeah. So
so could you almost technically never die? Because you could just keep going back.
Because you're like,
I guess, but
mind transporting.
But your mind would be old, but your body would be quite young. So after a while, you'd just be this like.
The senile college.
You'd go back 20 years, then you'd catch up, and then you'd go back again 20 years. So eventually you'd be a 100-year-old man in a 20-year-old's body, which is the dream.
But in order to
100-year-old men.
In order to keep the timeline the same, they had to keep doing what they had done initially.
Yes.
So you kind of are limited.
Yeah, there's
lots
of
gonna
holes
ruin
in
your
your time
timeline.
travel.
It would get really messy, but like by the end of it, I'd be the only one.
But I'd still have my orbits.
Yeah. I'd be the only one in it. So
Again, everything I've learned about time travel, I learned in Endgame. It's not like Back to the Future.
There you go. Or Die Hard.
Or Die Hard or anything. All right, let's move on. Danielle, please regale us with your choice of what you would stock in your dorm room.
Well, you mentioned Star Trek with the communicators.
I did.
And of course, we all know Star Trek has a wonderful, wonderful catalog of films.
Yes.
And I specifically am looking at the Next Generation films.
The next generation of Star Trek, okay?
So we're talking Nemesis and Generation, because in that timeline of Star Trek, they've gotten rid of some of the more dangerous potential malfunctions that can happen in a transporter beam.
Okay.
So I'm going with a transporter.
Scotty, beam me up.
So there
I love
are like single-use little transporters in that timeline, but just my own little transporter deck, just one tiny little
No, you're not greedy.
circle.
Single use as in you use it once.
No,
and you
I just
can't-
mean I don't have the full transporter bay.
Which is in the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
room.
Six
yeah.
top.
Where like
Yeah, the six
where like
top.
where the team can go out. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I see what
Yeah.
you mean.
and do
This
you
is
still
just
need
me.
an operator?
Well, here's the thing. So sometimes the ship can operate it for you if you have your little badge and you do your little double tap, right? So we're going reboot style. Double tap.
That's how we started this.
Yeah. So that's the plan there. So I'm getting to class on time. You know,
Oh,
I'm
good
getting to the
Lord.
beer store before things close. I'm sleeping right up until like the professor starts to talk, and then I'm just beaming myself into a seat, sneaking into movies, just beaming myself into movie theaters and bank vaults. I mean, not that would be nope, wouldn't do that. 100% would. Stealing all the money, coming back. By that point, there's also the biofilter in the transporters, so you can filter out diseases and contagions.
Like when you go through it.
Yeah.
It just sort
so
of
you could
cures
like
yourself?
get a cold and you
Okay.
like transport out the cold in mid transport, which is very
Oh, I did
exciting.
not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You can deactivate guns, which is not going to happen because it's just a one-person thing, and
Yeah.
you're not letting anyone else use it. But it's a feature that exists. Should someone come at me?
Come at me, bro. I'll be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did this run you? What did you in your research?
Well, here's the problem.
This is where
So
okay.
there's some physicists that are like, we can do this in 100 years. There's some physicists that are like, we can never do this ever. There's some people being like, a few $1 billion is a fair, like a few $100 billion is an estimate for if we could nail it down, how much it would cost. But I'm assuming that I would have come across it in some sort of like Doc Brown mad scientist bequeathed to me
Yes.
this teleporter.
Okay.
Because
grandfathered in, so
Yeah.
to speak.
yeah.
Okay.
I would assume, should this ever actually exist, we're not going to be owning personal versions. I assume we would be going to like hubs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would assume there's like a mortgaging system almost where
Student
it's
pricing, maybe.
like tens of thousands
Oh,
of
that would be
dollars
more.
to 50 to like the price of a house, but you're paying it off over like
Okay. All right. Over
years
yes.
and years.
It's
and
almost
years.
like an exercise machine that you have like on loan or something like that. No.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
layaway kind of
What?
sort of.
I don't know. Never
Like
mind.
like a
Who's
lease.
renting
Who's renting
exercise
treadmills?
You
equipment
can rent
specifically?
treadmills, can you not? Or I don't know. Maybe you can.
You rent to own, so it technically is a lease, but
Yeah,
it's
okay.
either near or
That's
there.
what I'm
Yeah,
kinda
That's what
getting
you're getting at.
at.
Okay. Where like are you keeping this from everybody, or are you
Oh
sharing?
yeah, no, it's
the
gonna live in
wealth?
my closet.
Okay.
It's just in the closet. So
Yeah.
I just walk into the closet and people just assume I'm still in there for forever. And
Just trying on
everywhere
sweaters.
everywhere I appear, I do my best not to be caught as well, because that would be very upsetting
The
to
jig is
any
up,
number
yeah.
of people who might come in contact with that. So like again, the theater's already gone dark when I beam myself in, so nobody notices. Hopefully I don't end up on anyone's lap. That would be awkward.
Yeah. What's the direction? on this?
How does
Like-
that work? It just
Yeah.
puts you where you like the destination you want to go, and it just in that vicinity. Is that normally how it is worked? Actually,
Well,
don't you have to
there's
kind of grab an
some
area?
vagueness
Yeah.
to it, but because like
Need a
they
vector at least, I'd
Yeah.
say, right?
But I mean, we've got our phones, we've got our GPS. I can just enter
Yeah,
in the
okay.
coordinate of the aisle in Cineplex.
Instead of going...
And then just appear at the back of the aisle and be like, oh, I'll just sit here.
Or into the bathroom, and then you just walk out and go into whatever movie.
No, I
that.
might still have to pass a ticket taker. I'm trying to get out of paying for the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Because
need that.
all
I'm
your
a
money's-
college student.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
on a fixed budget.
I get it. So you wouldn't share it with anybody.
Not initially. Not during college. Because I don't have the power to like recreate this science. This is ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not prepared for that level of responsibility. That comes after college.
Well, see, you mentioned the money thing. You could charge people to use it.
You could be making some serious.
Yeah,
He's
but
looking at
then I
orbits.
open
You're
myself
looking at
up-
teleportation.
Then I open myself up again to being knocked off the throne. Like I don't need that in my life. Not until I've stolen enough money that I can protect myself.
I get it. Okay. All right. With great power comes great theft.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Dan, what do you think about all this
Well-
fast-moving nonsense?
But my first thought was, I know Danielle is a good friend. Is a good friend. So the problem is when people start knowing about the transporter, it'll be like a thing. Like if you have a pickup truck, like people won't stop asking you like to help them move.
Literally.
To help you get into movies all the
And
time.
I think it'll get kind of
Yeah.
annoying. Like even like it'll hurt your friendship.
And
It's going to be
my-
a secret. I
what-
tell everyone it's a movie prop.
I think
that
that-
I'm a big nerd. No one will want to be
you?
my friend.
I think that'll be prudent. Keep it to yourself. Yeah.
I don't know you that well, Danielle, but are you a punctual person?
I try to be.
You try to be? Okay, because if all of a sudden you were always on time, people would be like, what the fuck is going on? As opposed to like you would always have to show up as you would just cut down your traffic, I guess. But if you started showing up 1 second before everything, people would be like, what does she have in her closet? Maybe not that easily figured out, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
she's up to something. It must be something in her closet.
it's always
Nothing else.
Well, no,
That's where my mind goes
that's the
when my
thing, though.
friends are
Is
suspicious.
if you are up to something, if somebody's investigating your house because they think you're up to something, that's the first place they're looking is in the closet.
That's true.
Yes, yeah, under the bed, in the
Yeah.
closet, you know, in the ceiling tiles. I mean,
Fair.
But you got the pin code, obviously. So yeah, so
On
it
the
doesn't even
closet?
matter. Yeah.
Well, and also if we're pulling right from lore, right? Like you need to be a trained teleporter technician. Like, can you imagine like giving the keys to XYZ friend and being like, "Okay, all right, we're gonna do this." Like, you'd end up on God knows where you'd end up.
Well, apparently the range is approximately 30 to 40,000 kilometers, so you can't even make it to the moon. I was a little disappointed to learn, but you can
Oh.
make it all the way around the globe. So
Okay. I guess it has to have some limits.
I was hoping to sell moon tours, but no, I can't.
But you could definitely kill getting to like Key West for spring break.
Oh yeah.
Well, what I was going to say, you mentioned that it cures sickness, which is good, obviously. But if it was discovered that you have this, people would be like, well, let's just get anyone that's sick going through this thing. And then they would like confiscate it from you and be I guess, which is like I'm making it sound like a bad thing, like we're curing sickness.
How
now,
dare you,
But now
sir.
it's not your dorm gadget anymore. The government's taking it.
Yeah.
You saved everybody. And I'm trying. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, this isn't a bad thing, Chris. You're helping Danielle's case.
Wait,
What I was gonna get at though is that your employer, if you're like, I don't feel well, they'll be like, we'll just go through your transporter and get your ass to work.
Yeah, right.
You're like,
Like-
oh yeah, okay.
I'm
but it
not
goes-
working.
You can never have another sick day, and that would kind of
Yeah.
suck. That's what I was trying to get at. But then it was like, that's because there'd be no sickness.
Yeah, like there's a running theme here so far because all of this technology and power at the wrong time leads to Dan sending people back and fucking with their futures, and Danielle you would get yours taken away because the government would be like, wow, this is curing sickness, we can't have this out there, people need to die, right? Like we can't take care of all these people.
It'd still die of old age.
That's
Plus,
true,
I'd
yeah.
have to think that if any of us suddenly had a technology that doesn't exist in like, it's not like no one would come for Dan's time machine.
Teleporter time machine. I want both.
Yeah, as much as it would be a time machine, I admit it would still be really hard to convince that many people to come to my hot tub.
like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teleport into that hot tub.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, Kalao. There you go.
You teleport into his hot tub, then
Yeah.
go back in time to bring like whatever the fuck you want back and teleport. Oh my god, the two of you need to be roommates. You will have no room to sleep, Danielle. But
It's a lot of the hydro bills, though.
No kidding. Why is this room spiking every month? All right.
Oh no, wait, it didn't. Do they have a time machine?
Yeah. So like, all in all, the only thing like, there's nothing really ethically wrong about a teleporter, but I feel that you like for Dan to convince the world he's got a hot tub time machine falls at he's got a hot tub. You got to go there to find out with the time machine, but yours is a teleporter. There's nothing hiding. So I feel that you've got a lot of responsibility to keep your closet like under lock and fucking key, which is the only downfall that I can see. I don't know. Anybody else like can they,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd really have to keep it to yourself.
yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree.
We all agree.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I have nothing.
That's
no
what I get when I
rebuttal.
ask a closed-ended question. Okay, yes, I agree. All right, Chris, do you want me to go next or do you want to go next?
I can go next.
All right, cool.
'Cause I feel yours will probably be a bit stronger in the end. What is yours, actually?
Mine is the Neuralizer from the MIB series.
The what series? Oh, yeah, okay,
Men
sorry. I
in
thought,
Black?
yeah, you said MI, so I went Mission Impossible.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, Mission Impossible B series? What is that?
Well,
oh, okay.
I found this funny little anecdote before you go. They were showing after Henry Cavill might be tapped for Wolverine. They showed that scene from his MIB performance where he like throws his arms down in the bathroom beating up Tom Cruise, but then out of his hands came claws. And it was this really well-timed like gif, and I'm like, that kind of, I mean,
That can kind of work.
That kind of worked, but he's too tall.
But Hugh Jackman was tall too.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's actually taller than Henry Cavill.
Really?
Yeah. So they made it work, but kind of not really. They never actually made him look small on screen. I think.
Didn't they put him in ditches though? Like a lot in the movie.
Just
That's what they
always
do with tall people.
Dig
right?
the trench for the tall person.
Yeah.
Well,
They
it's
do.
like Tom Cruise
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
5'5" or something ridiculous. Like he's shorter than myself, and I'm not a tall guy. But in all scenes, he's on the same level as everyone, really.
So Tom Cruise is Wolverine, is what you're saying.
That's what it should be, yes. And he doesn't age like Wolverine, so
I could use a dose of Scientology these days.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, Chris, regale us.
Well, I feel a little bad. I feel like mine's like breaking rules. You never said no robots, because
I know I didn't say any robots.
I know. I went with Chappie from the movie Chappie. He's the robot, directed by Neil
Blomkamp.
Yeah, is that what it is? He did District 9 and Elysium.
What's up, fuck mother? Oh shit.
So I went Chappie. He is tech, I guess, to an extent, because before he becomes the robot that we all sort of fall in love with in the end, he's part of the police task force that the military government uses. And then he's kind of a rogue AI that sort of goes and
Isn't he stolen and then they try to see if they can?
I don't know if he's stolen. It's, the developer in the movie puts his own conscience in, or gives him his own conscience or whatever it is, and he develops his own sort of personality and human traits. So basically, I would just have a robot AI roommate, which would sound super cool to make new friends and have parties. Everyone would be coming over in those few like opening months, all the
Frosh Week.
Yeah, and I'm also 18, and like I'm not like 35 in this scenario, so I was gonna be like, all the freshmen will be there, but they would be because I'm 18, and I got this cool new AI robot who's basically the Van Wilder of robots now. He's very curious about like how humans interact and everything, and he can get upset if he finds that you're being disloyal or you're malicious towards him, and he discovers that, and hopefully he wouldn't realize that I'm just really using him to be more popular with everybody else.
He's your bumblebee.
But he's super cool in the movie. They dress him up in like jewelry and accessories, so he'd have a very good fashion and styling sort of sense. Yeah. Which, with 18 to 22-year-olds, it's all about that, your look and everything like that. Cool. He's cool into the big music. He's very impressionable. So so you're like, hey, Chappie, this music's cool. He's like, this music's cool. And then we just have all the parties. If one thing I was gonna say is that if it doesn't really work out, and people don't really care anymore, like they lose the sort of the novelty of an AI robot, because like it's not like we're all sitting around in Alexa right now, like, oh, this is still cool. Like at first it was like, this is cool, and now we're like, shut up. That would
Alexa fucking cancel.
Yeah, exactly. If that happens with Chappie, in the end, it would still be just me and Chappie chilling in college together.
Yeah.
Being bros, doing our 4 years in IT or whatever.
That's the degree you take, though.
Yeah, I guess.
And then Chappie starts teaching the teacher.
Yeah. And then he helps me. Yeah, he'd probably be able to help me study and everything. He would just be a really good friend in a time when you don't maybe have a lot of good friends to have.
Oh, I actually love it. I don't know where I'm going to find a hole to hate it, because all I'm thinking is homework. Like, Chappie's doing everything for you, right? Like, he's your buddy.
I'm assuming he's smart. Like, he is an AI.
Yeah, he's an AI.
So he can probably be smart if he needs to be.
But, okay, so they insert a conscience into him.
Yeah.
So if you can insert a conscience, then couldn't you insert all of Wikipedia? Well,
yeah.
maybe. Okay, something more reliable.
I'm sure I could probably download something to a USB and in with Wikipedia or anything like that, with it being such a small size, like file size.
Yeah,
it wouldn't really be that much. And he's like a fully functional, like be sitting here with us, sort of chilling, probably be mimicking Dan right now with his lead scratch, or the cat. He might be like, I don't know what the cat's doing, but he seems cool. Also, because of his military police background, if I was ever to get into scraps or fights, or people get rowdy at the party and get drunk,
you got backup.
I got basically my own security robot that can take them on. No one's gonna shoot at a robot. Well, they do in the movies, so that was a stupid thing to say. But still, no one at college is. You know what? That's also might happen.
Would you two bodyguard my hot tub parties?
Yeah, we could all be in cahoots. So I'm down.
I dig it. I just like, was there what did you figure that this would run you? Because we didn't.
Well,
say we
if
had
this
a
is
budget,
the actual
so.
Chappie,
Yeah.
He's ran away, so he's free.
So he's free.
we meet up. I don't know. He got to Canada somehow. We met up, and now he's in my dorm room, and we party.
Okay.
Yeah. I party. He dances because he can't drink. Or does he? I don't remember.
What? Yeah, no. But you could program him to be drunk.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't know if I'd want that though. A drunk robot. How would you stop that?
I'm just a Westworld nut, so I would love to be like freeze all motor functions, right? Like just those cool commands of having. You have a butler. You have a Nigel. You have a Jeffrey. You have a whatever you want to call it.
I haven't gotten too far into Westworld, but like with Chappie though, is that he is sort of still his own person with thoughts and everything like that. Like he thinks for himself. That's kind of his story arc, if I remember correctly. So it would be like I am trapping a person against their will all the time. But I think he'd be like, you know what, we're learning, this is a lot of fun, and I'm just a robot, so I don't have like an agenda.
So it'd be more like a buddy flick
situation. It would be a very buddy flick, yeah.
Okay.
The Adventures of Chris and Chappie.
Yeah. I'm the Taj to his Van Wilder.
CNC music machine.
There you go.
Danielle, what are your thoughts on this robot?
I mean, it's hard. I like Chappie. I did.
I like him.
I do. He's sweet. Is Hugh Jackman gonna come after you for having Chappie though?
Okay.
No, because he's dead. He died in the movie, right? Didn't he die? This happens after.
Okay. All right. It's afterwards in the timeline.
Yes. Yes.
So Wolverine's
after the movie
not coming after you?
No, there's no Wolverine.
And he made it from South Africa to Canada.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. On it.
I love how you're using the plot.
Yeah.
That really happens. We just question shit. We don't question it from the plot. I love that. Anything else that you kind of see some holes in, or I mean, I'm thinking upkeep. That's my only.
Yeah.
He's an everything on the outside robot. That's the thing. Like he's like, you could see all his parts.
Yeah.
So like I figure it's like kind of like biking in winter. Like every day there'd be like a lot of maintenance. Like there's a lot of stuff you'd be doing,
chain's
like
gone rogue.
Q-tips and paper towels, like helping him out, and like that's fine. Like help out your friend, like oil his joints or whatever. But like if you're gonna have a robot friend, when like a friendly evil T-1000 would be ideal. Like just like he like the robot's just a liquid, right?
Yeah.
So that'd be the least amount of maintenance, I imagine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just thinking like robot friend upkeep is a lot with Chappie.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm a broke college student, so it's like
it would be
bill?
a lot. It would be a lot of extra time. Like you'd be nice because like he's your friend, like you'd help him out, but it would get annoying.
Like when your chain falls off your bike or you bust a gear or a tire. I mean, there's a lot of time and effort that go into that. So then your studies are sacrificing because you're trying to keep this robot to do your homework for you. Because that's what I would do if I had a fucking robot. I'd just be like, here's my thesis. Write it the fuck out, Chappie.
Well, and he's also kind of like, he might have all of that resources, but he's also like a toddler.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
He has
That would be very
like a
annoying.
childlike wonderment to everything. He is really a kid that's learning everything. He doesn't really go beyond that, besides having sort of a teenage rebellious.
Yeah, by
phase
the
as
time
well.
you get out of college, he'd probably be just potty trained or something, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm like, why not go the weird science route and get yourself like a fancy pretty bot?
It is college.
She would fit in a lot better.
Can I see that movie, Fancy Pretty Bot?
fancy Pretty Bot.
In theaters this summer. Like I'm going back into my 18-year-old male mentality, and I'm thinking if you got yourself a pretty bot, then you could have like mud wrestling and always win. Like bet on your robot because nobody
Mud
would know
wrestling
that she's...
in my dorm.
Oh yeah.
Not in your dorm, but on campus, right?
Wash
Like,
up in the hot tub.
Or I forgot to mention we're all on the same floor.
Oh, okay.
Dan, you got anything else? We can move on. All right, cool. So, I picked, as I mentioned, the neuralizer.
This is bad.
This is gonna go dark. I stayed above board. I stayed pretty PG-13 on this one. So if anybody out there hasn't seen Men in Black, which I feel bad for you, but if you haven't, the backstory on my device, its long form name, Electro-Biomechanical Neurotransmitting Zero Synapse Reposinator.
Or
This is called a neuralizer. It's a gift from some friends from out of town. This red eye here will isolate the electronic impulses in your brains, more specifically the ones for memory.
It has the ability to wipe the mind of anybody who sees the flash. That's its principal function, and actual only function. Once people are neuralized, they seem to enter a trance, freeze, or their eyes lose focus. And once the victims are neuralized, the agents must make up a story to replace the victim's erased memories. Neuralizers are paramount to the MIB's operation and maintenance of secrecy. So we've all seen them. You see an alien, you get neuralized. Oh, it was just a freak accident and a gas pipe blew up. Blah, 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 blah. So it comes with 3 settings, which can be changed. Settings were originally year and month, but then they added hour as the movies went on. So... I'm going to go with the original.
so you could, sorry, say that again?
You could blank the memory to the year and the hour, year and month. So if I blanked your memory today, I could pick the year and the month that I blanked you back to.
Okay.
And then they added the hour so that if you had to be somewhere, you could blank right back to that specific hour and time. And then you just create the new story, right? So the reason I picked this predominantly small and compact, right? Like it looks like you can either hold a toothbrush in it or it's a dildo. That's the 2 things that came to my mind. Inconspicuous.
The only 2 things.
The only 2.
Yeah. There was nothing else.
As
No
soon as I
vape
figured,
pen.
Yeah. Yeah.
No vape pen. Totally. It's a douche flute. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. It's useful in almost every situation. Like I love all of your picks. I love going back in time. I love traveling through, and I love a fucking buddy robot. Like those are all great. These are all fun things that you want to use in college. But I didn't completely think of using mine for nefarious things, such as mind wiping comes in handy a lot of the time. You got a bad grade. The only way you're going to get out of that bad grade, boop, mind wipe. Professor goes, oh, this was the best paper I've ever written. Littered with spelling mistakes, horrible grammar. Doesn't matter. You mind wipe them. What else did I have? I said, embarrassing moment at a frat party. Make them forget that you ever streaked across the lawn asking for KFC. Like, that's done, right? You can get away with everything. Okay. And you have, it basically takes away shame, which is a primary function that most humans have to have, which college is not a breeding ground to learn shame. right? Maybe it's where you figured out shame exists, but it's definitely not where you learn it. So, excuse me, but I figured while you're finding who you are as a person and you make an ass out of yourself, it'd be great to wipe the minds of everybody who saw it, who could spread rumors and, make up stories about you. Huge fight with your new roommate, wipe their mind, you'll be best friends again, right? If you come home and you're hooking up with whoever you're with and they come in and they're pissed off, they can't sleep in the room because all they're here is two people going at it, wipe their mind, right? You never have any conflict really anymore, right?
And
I can see, Danielle, you're just ready to go.
And then you just never grow as a person. Yeah. You're like, well, that was a shitty thing. Better just erase that. Moving on.
Okay. Late on an assignment. Wipe the prof's memory of what actual time it is. Boom, you're on time.
I wouldn't use it for nefarious reasons. And then,
Well,
and then I'll cheat
all of
through
the-
college. Me and my friend got into fight. Hey, he doesn't remember.
Manipulation isn't nefarious.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I banged his girlfriend. Now they both forget.
But that's nefarious, right? Like, okay, so changing things that are not great situations for yourself okay, assuming that this is thrown out at the end of college and not taken into real life, that's kind of where I was because you're at college. But if this is where you're like, if you grew up with this tool, you'd be fucked. I totally get that.
What year are we in?
We're 2020.
Okay,
So if I was in college,
how would you? And I don't even know how. I haven't seen the latest MIB movie, so I don't know how they address this. But how do they address smartphone technology? Where if there's this crazy alien thing going on, and everyone's like, "Well, oh my god," we're not all watching with our eyes anymore. We're all videotaping it.
Yes.
Does the thing work through the phones and erase the video files, or is everyone later going to be like, "What the hell is this? Why do we all have this?" And then it's all on the internet, and then there's you in the background just zapping everybody. Like, who's this terrorist?
But then they'll just think like somebody dosed the punch at the party with propofol. Like, okay, I can't remember the last 12 hours, but clearly I was alive and doing stuff.
there's proof I
went to work apparently.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, they conveniently read it out of the plot for sure.
Oh, they don't have it.
They don't recognize smartphone technology whatsoever.
I think now all movies should just take place like before 2005.
Yeah, I agree. Because then you get so much more out of a movie instead of some asshole being like, their smartphone would kill them differently.
Even if it's based off something that happened after that, still have it like 2004 or something.
I agree.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman's back.
Yeah. No heroin overdose. Lovely.
Yeah.
My last 2 points. Upset with the snacks in the cafeteria. Wipe your student advisor's brain. Bring in the best ones possibly, without upping the price because we're all college students on a budget. Parents upped your college allowance, but it's not enough to fly to Aspen for the Christmas break. Wipe their mind. Tell them they were supposed to send $2,000 instead of $1,000. Lastly, the only really good point I thought of was if anybody's going through a traumatic event, right, and things are really hard, there's the natural progression of grief in going through a hard time, or there's wiping it and getting over it maybe a little bit faster, right? So mindfully being aware of the fact that, yes, someone has died or something bad has happened and I need to sit in this for a couple days, but then to kind of get off the couch and get back to life, boop, wipe it,
So when you say people are having traumatic experiences, are you talking about if it's you in this, or if a friend is, you're like, hey, I got this machine
family.
to help you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But then you're going to wipe it, and then they're not going to remember even about the machine part.
Well, not so much because the whole principle of the movie is I wipe you, but then I tell you the new story. So I go, you know what? Your mother has died, but you're over it, right?
You're
done.
You don't care anymore. That's how that works, I think.
That's kind of how that works.
I don't know.
So that's kind of what I was thinking was like if we work out a scenario where it's like, okay, you tell me what you want to remember, then we wipe you and I tell you exactly that version. So it's made up by the person instead of me taking advantage of their brain for said 30 seconds and creating a new reality for them.
I think you should have just chosen the brain or the memory wiping tech from Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Which
could fit in a room.
It totally
You're
could.
not running around town like, hey, you don't want to remember this, right? No, I don't know. It kind of makes me as a person. Zap.
And the thing about me having the neuralizer though, like for me, the reason I wouldn't is you always have to have those glasses with you, and then lose the sunglasses.
Yeah, or it's sit on.
See,
it's an extra accessory that you got to carry with you, and that's I don't know. It's just an annoying.
Especially like in Winnipeg here, if you're wearing like sunglasses in like the winter,
or at night,
or like after 6.
yeah. You just and like you're not wearing them all the time, but you're the guy that always has sunglasses with him.
Or like why are you always taking your sunglasses out before you're doing this? Like it would kind of like you can go in your closet and nobody would believe your hot tub is a time machine, and your robot's proof and pudding. They'd be amazed by that. But like, why is this guy getting creepy with his sunglasses right before something weird?
I just can't remember why he's creepy.
He said something really stupid and obnoxious. Then he put on his sunglasses.
And but lastly, the thing I would do first with it is I'd wipe the dean's brain, tell him I'm here on a top secret grant from the government. My projects in school are very hush hush, and I do not need to be disturbed at all whatsoever. So my handler from the government is the only person that would talk to me, which thus would give me full access to the campus, no questions asked, and obviously it's on a full ride scholarship.
Because you tricked.
Because I tricked the dean into thinking that
your non-nefarious tricking ways.
I don't know, man. I feel like people believe the story the MIB tell them because they look like a government agency. I don't know that I would believe.
What? I'm not believable to you.
Buddy in his student hoodie.
Yeah. His Red River College shirt.
Okay.
And his Axe body spray.
So what you're saying is that if I dress the part, it might be more believable, but like, why am I wearing a black suit now?
And shades.
Shades. Why do you look like the movie MIB? Right?
Yeah.
Like, the jig is up. Okay. Anybody else got some
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, to our very special guests, this is the time of the show where we vote. So you take out your little pad, magic eraser marker that I gave you, and you pick somebody else besides yourself. Well, Chris makes lovely mouth music in the background. And once everybody's done, we flip our cards. We pick the winner.
How much was your neutralizer going to cost, by the way?
I figured it'd be about three grand.
He forgot.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that point.
He can't remember.
Funny.
Where'd you get the $3 grand?
Well,
from?
That was the budget, right? Like you plan to go to college, you've got everything you need, but you found out you got a couple extra thousand and kicking around, right? So I mean, I really did.
These just cost $3,000.
Yeah, and they come with the sunglasses.
As much as a car from 2005.
Which we want all movies to be based in. Is everybody ready to flip their little magic card around?
Yeah,
okay.
I drew pictures again, so I just wrote under the picture who I was voting for.
I love your way of thinking. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn them around.
I wrote Dan.
Teleporter.
Dan. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Chris and Chappie. I wrote Dan.
You wrote Dan.
So we got teleporter. So Danielle takes the win.
I have Chris.
Oh, and I have. Oh, so I win.
You win.
Okay, I see. I get it.
We got 2 for Chris, 1 for Danielle, and what was?
I had Dan.
You had Dan. Okay, all right.
I had the hot tub. I was impressed with his amount of backstory and wanting to do with it. And the orbits.
the orbits. Yeah. I really wanted to vote for you because I wanted some orbits back in my life. Like, do you like just a moment on orbits? Like, how does something stay suspended and is good to put in your body? That's the real, like, I no, it's not supposed to be.
No, I have no idea.
Viscosity.
Yeah. Well, I understand the science behind it, but like just now that I'm in my elder 30s, like, I look at ingredients. I can't, like, who.
Oh yeah, like, what is the ingredient?
What are the ingredients?
What makes it so viscous?
You know, like, things should not be suspended in your drink and then put that liquid into your body. But
I thought it was a delicious drink.
I did too. It was fun. It was like a dessert.
Yeah.
Chris, why'd you vote for? Or sorry, Dan, why'd you vote for Chris? Or Danielle?
I just couldn't argue with the fact that it's a good way to get around town.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a driver. Mostly because I don't have a car anymore, but I feel like it'd be a lot more convenient than having a car. You know, it'd just be really convenient. Good for getting groceries and stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was torn between Danielle or Chris, and the only reason I like every one of our designs is operated by us. Chris has a second thing that, and I'm a lazy piece of shit. So if I can get something to do my job for me, I'm working smarter, not harder.
See, I don't know if Chappie would though, because he's still a person. But anyways, he still voted for me, so so keep it.
So fuck your
It's
principles.
finalized.
Danielle, why'd you vote for Chris?
I voted for Chappie. That's what I
okay,
voted
so-
for. If it was any other robot, he wouldn't have had my vote.
Well, when I told Mike, I was like, I don't know, I want to do a robot. He's like, yeah, pick Short Circuit. I'm like, nah, I don't want Short Circuit.
Johnny
did you
Five.
or yeah, like, did you see the movie? No, I don't. He's like that Nintendo robot, just spun around.
I mean, there might have been some Star Wars droids that I would have gone with as
But
well.
long time ago.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
That's future
true.
tech.
I thought about Star Wars, but it all just came down to weapons, and I was like, I don't want a weapon in my dorm. Yeah, no, the droids would be good.
Like if you had a
R2.
little R2 unit kicking around.
Or C-3PO, so you can actually communicate with C-3PO, as opposed to, I don't know if they've never explained in Star Wars how they can talk to R2. He's like, "Pew!" Like, yeah, I know, it seems really dangerous down
Shitty
there.
too, buddy. I
Yeah,
get it.
and you're like, he just, okay.
C-3PO is a dweeb, though. Like,
Yeah,
personality
that's true. Yeah, I know. Most of the movies, they're just telling him to
he's
shut
like,
up.
He's like Milhouse of robots. But without the charm of Milhouse.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, like
that's best.
Milhouse is allowed to be innocent and precocious.
What's Dale, what were your short list? Like what other pieces of tech kind of flew through your brain as you were coming up with this?
I did think Star Wars, a lot of it does end up very weapon focused in a lot of future things,
Set
which was a
phasers
bummer.
to stun and
Yeah. The Minority Report future people kind of popped up for a second.
That would have been cool, but very large for a dorm room.
Yeah.
I also have 3 people in here.
Well, yeah,
in baths.
Precogs, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you could blend it with the hot tub time machine because it is a bit like a big. It is like a big hot tub, like not as bubbly, but I feel like it was warm.
Yeah, I think it's just lukewarm.
in orbits fluid, so they float.
Yeah.
And they couldn't. The precogs can't do their thing outside that chamber, can they? Because doesn't he get the one out?
He does get the one out,
she
but
can't run around like, oh, we're gonna die
she's
right
not
here.
connected to the machine.
Yeah.
But like even I didn't know if I wanted to go wearable because like there's Edith most recently from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh yeah.
Where you could just have
Jarvis too.
Yeah.
Jarvis, yeah.
Like
really, so many stuff from like the Marvel movies, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So.
I like the improbability drive from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like if you're gonna travel, wouldn't it be fun to travel as like whatever you end up as when you get there? Ford on my sofa.
Like we mentioned before, like in Bloodshot, nanotech's big in video games and movies. But I don't even know if it's actually a specific thing. It's like it's just little robots, nanotech. Like that's all it is.
Yeah.
We were just mentioning like Marvel technology. I could like out of all the superhero weapons, Thor's hammer. I could see that being in a dorm room because like that is like I could definitely see a guy just be like, I don't know, that's a hammer nobody could pick up. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was just in the dorm since we got here.
And most people thinking it's just a bong or something when they walk in. Like that's a pretty cool bong, man.
I don't know. We can't even move it. We just like I just put my boots on it to dry out in winter.
I hang my coat on. That's my hat rack.
Yeah. You can make like some drinking game by throwing like horseshoes around it or something.
So I could definitely see that being in a dorm room. Yeah.
Until that one drunk friend picks it up and you're like, how'd you do that? He's worthy.
Yeah, the Scandinavian exchange student with long hair. He's coming to party tonight.
What's his name? I don't know, but it starts with a T. Oh yeah, no. There's a lot of stuff out there that I kind of went like the precog stuff was on. So I just was like future movie technology, and you always get the lightsaber. You always get the but the thing from Star Trek that also interested me was the replicator.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's that?
That's the one that makes whatever
your food.
makes your food.
But it's so tiny.
Yeah.
So it's like a microwave, right?
Kind
Yeah,
of.
it's about the size of a mini fridge.
It's a microwave with a direct line to every grocery store on the planet.
You mentioned we were talking about Mission Impossible. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The face mask thing, so you can look like other people, and also it changes your body size and shape. They never explain that part, but it's like Philip Seymour Hoffman. Why are you so short?
And it makes you Scientologist.
Yes. Why do you believe in Xenu all of a sudden, Philip?
Why is Katie Holmes here?
Oh, that's funny. Well, that was another good one.
Yes,
guys, Danielle and Dan specifically. Did you have fun first of all?
Of course.
Yes.
Good, because Danielle, I want you back. I want you on the roster.
Dan, we're not sure.
No, Dan, I said the same thing to Dan too. I sent him a text after. I said, no, you've made the grade. You can argue ridiculously, talk about the most silly things in movies in a matter-of-fact manner. So your pins are in the mail. That don't exist yet, but when they do, I'll mail them for sure. Can you tell me, Dan, what your next show is, what you got coming up, or if you want to share anything about the 30-second podcast, which I fucking love?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, check out Dan Goldberg's 30-second podcast on all the podcast places.
What's the slogan?
It's the least I could do, which is false. I bet I could have done a shorter one, but I feel like the people need to hear a little bit more of me.
Yeah,
in 20 seconds.
If you went to a minute, I bet
that's
you.
Not enough.
Yeah, no. Yeah. If you did a full minute, I think.
Yeah, that's a little much.
That's okay. Right. I don't want to put pressure on you. I get it. Recording restraints. It's tough. Okay. Danielle, what do you got coming up? This is going to air Wednesday this week, so.
Oh, it's Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, it's Wednesday. I know you guys have a show tonight, which we're coming to, by the way.
Oh, great.
Yeah, me and Sean are going to make a stop in at the Le Garage.
You'll see all three of us there.
Oh, are you?
He's doing
door die Dan.
Door guy on stage. Great. Yes. Awesome. So, but do you have anything after that, Danielle?
Well, since you can't use the hot tub time machine to get there, I think my next show is actually also run by Chris, and it is March 14th at Wee Johnny's, and it's a fundraiser for cancer care.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
That's in a few weeks, though.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Cool. And then, Chris, is that yours too, or you get something else?
No, well, yeah, I'm headed to Edmonton. This is airing Wednesday, you said?
Yeah, this will be up Wednesday.
Oh, well, I'm headed to Edmonton right now. Whoa. Or maybe at work still.
Okay.
Time travel.
But yeah, Wednesday I'm headed to Edmonton, doing a bunch of shows out there.
Awesome.
So if we have any Edmonton listeners, maybe check me out.
We do. We got some.
We have 5.
We have
all
5.
Right,
yeah.
Well, come on down. You can catch me at Yuck Yucks, Empress. Yeah, I'll be around town.
That's awesome. All you guys will get all your information for those shows, and we'll put it on when we post this. That said, thank you to everybody for tuning in to another episode of The Real Debaters. If this is your first time, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Twitter and Instagram is just at Real Debaters because we got lucky and no one else had that taken. The Real Debaters on Facebook. You can search us there too. We have merch as well. We are on the Design by Humans website. It is www.designbyhumans.com/shop/the prop shop. T-shirts, hoodies, more stuff is coming, but we just put up the basics for now. If you want to send us an email, if you want to ask us about a topic to do on the show, or you just think we're full of shit and you want to challenge us, I'm more than happy to listen. You can email us at therealdebaters@gmail.com. Besides that, I've been Micheal Petrow. To my left is
Dan Goldberg,
Danielle Kayahara,
Chris Stanton,
and we gone.